This morning we're working with a mare named Calla Lily. She's 3 years old and she's a warm blood. And we've had her in training now for 90 days. So I'd just like to share the progression of how we got her started from the round pen to being able to ride outside. After she's been lightly started, then she'll get to go home and be turned out and be allowed to grow up a little bit more before she goes on to the more discipline-specific training. So we're here with Calla Lily, the 3-year-old warm blood filly. I'm going to show you some groundwork and how we would prep her before we would get on her back since she's a youngster. So what I've got here in my hand, this is Makate style rein. And I like to use these on the young horses because this extra rope, this lead rope part, allows me to work them around me as needed before I would want to get on her. So I've got a little checklist of things that I'm going to go through on my young horses before mounting and riding off. So what I'll do is just start to send her around me. I can use a flag or my riding crop, my riding whip. And I just want to see how she shapes up on the circle. So I don't want her to lean in and try to push me out of the way. And I don't want her to look up and be looking to the outside of this circle and be distracted. I just want to feel like I've got a nice feel in my hand where she can walk straight. I can kind of step a front foot to the left as we come around here. She's in a good frame of mind. I'm taking note of mentally where she's at. She's got her ears towards me. And then I'm going to step the hindquarters over and bring the front end through to change directions. She's a little bit on the board side here, so I can maybe ask her to pick up this walk a little bit, just a little bit. Good. And again, I'll ask her to turn, step the hindquarters out, come up in this outside eye, and bring the front end through. So that weight shift from taking weight from the forehand onto the hindquarters is a big thing that she's going to need to do once I get on her back. So I'm definitely checking that out before I get on. The next thing I'll do is come in here, grab both reins, and kind of walk into her a little bit. And I want to see this inside left hind foot start to step up between her two front feet. So this is an important way that she's starting to track. It's also going to be important when I start riding her from her back. So this is the very beginning of tracking in what we call first position, where the inside hind starts to step up between the two front feet. I'll show you this way. I'm just here and just trying to get a little lateral step so that right hind tracks up between the two front feet, just like that. That's great. So then once I have checked those things out, I'm ready for the mounting block. So when using a mounting block, I'm real particular about not moving the block to the horse, but getting the horse to move to the block. So it's a good way to start to get to the horse's feet and make some adjustments as needed. So my left hand, I'm going to lead her up here. If she would go to get crooked or move her hind end to the right, my right hand is kind of on this outside rein so that I can block that and keep her straight. Good, good. So I'm trying to keep, what I don't want is for her neck to bend around me to the left, because that's going to send her hindquarters to the right. So I'm doing my best to keep her straight. Now I'll tie up my Makate rein here. Double check that my girth is tight. Try to bring her attention back to me here. Good. Very good. Bring her attention back to me here before we go. And walk off. Good. So this is a mare that her personality is one that is a little bit on the bold side. She really leaned into pressure when we first started her. So these first couple steps are usually a little sticky. I've really got to work to help her free up in her walk. So I'm thinking about getting my legs and my seat in time with her walk. I don't want to grip and hold on and be clampy with my leg. I want my leg to feel like it's got a lot of life in it. And so I am using alternating leg aids here. When each hind foot comes off the ground, that's when I'm squeezing. Left, right, left, right, left, right. And just asking her, each hind foot, to take a little bigger step forward as we go. Good. She blows through her nose, lets out a little tension. Good. That's all right. That's a good thought. Go forward. So one of the first things that I'll also start to do is what we call an isolation. So I would like to keep the same walk tempo that I have here. I want to try to keep a consistent bend from head to tail, and I'm going to think about walking her hind end around her front. So the same step that we got from the ground, hind end over. And then once I get that, we're going to shift, see if we can bring the front end around the hind end. So it's a little two-part turn that we call an isolation. So I'll show you that again. I'm gonna do inside. My inside leg is talking to her hind end, specifically the right hind. Now, now, now. Good. And now we'll bring the front end around the hind end. I'm using my outside leg, and it's important that I keep right bend even though I'm pushing from the outside. And that's the tricky part, keeping the bend and keeping the tempo consistent throughout. So let's try that now on going to the left. So we're going to try the isolations now on the left side. Start with bringing the hind end around the front. So I'm using my inside leg, trying to get her to take a bigger step with that left hind. Good. And now I'll bring the front end around the hind end. Trying to get a bigger step in front. Now she is starting to want to change the bend and counter bend, so I'll come back here to my inside leg. I need to add bend, so I'm going inside leg. Stand that shoulder back up, and then I'll try again. So form is key. That's the main thing. If you're losing the form, then just go forward, go back to your circle and try again. So I'm gonna see again if we can now bring the front end around the hind end. Good, good. So I need, I need her to stay flexed left throughout. And if she can't, that's fine. I'll come through, come forward, shape that up again with my inside aids and try again. That's repetition is going to be pretty standard. There, good. That's all that I need. Good. Okay. So now we'll go ahead and pick up the trot. And I'm just gonna give her a minute here to loosen up. Just kind of do some big bending lines, some serpentines. Good. So now I'll come on to a left circle, about a 20-meter circle or so. And I'm going to ask Calla Lily to spiral out. So she's going to be yielding to my inside leg. And I'd like both her shoulder and her hip to spiral out the same amount. So what I don't want is for her to overbend her neck and escape through the outside shoulder. So I've got enough contact on both my reins, especially my outside rein. My outside rein is going to limit the bend so that I can keep her pretty straight through that outside shoulder and get, what I'm trying to do is access that inside hind foot, get the left hind foot to step over and end up tracking more between her two front feet as we go. You might see me touch her with the whip a little bit back there behind my legs, so the whip reinforces my leg, sends her onto my leg so my leg can send her forward when she gets a little sticky. Good, good, good. So my inside rein is used just to encourage flexion in the jaw. I don't want to overbend the cervical part of her neck. So just right up at the atlas access joint. That's where I'm trying to get just flexion. Outside rein limits the amount of bend in the cervical part of the neck. So she's learning how to yield to my inside leg as we go. And walk. Good. Give her a break. And then we'll try that to the right. Okay, so I'm gonna start out just by trotting my 20-meter circle. And now I'll start to ask for spiral out. Yield to my inside leg. And the timing is such that I want to squeeze as I stand at the top of my post. That's when the right hind is coming off the ground. Now, now, now. If I squeeze her when that foot is on the ground bearing weight, there's not much she can do about it, so she'll have to ignore me. So the timing of when to squeeze is really critical if we're trying to sharpen our aids. So again, I'm trying to access, gain control of that right hind foot. Wanted to get her to track with that right hind up between the two front feet. Good, good, good. And when she does, you can see the power come through from the hind end. Outside rein is limiting the amount of bend and bringing the left shoulder around the circle. Good, good, good. So when that tracking gets correct, I know just by the way she feels, because that energy she really starts to get connected, and the energy comes all the way from the hind end all the way to the bit. Good. Good. And walk. Very good. I'll show you a little bit of Calla's canter work. She's still fairly green, so we're cantering through the trot. I'm focusing on getting a nice balanced transition to the canter and then allowing her to go forward in the canter fairly open and just trying to rebalance in each corner of the arena and then letting her go forward and straight in between. So let's see what we've got here. Do that transition to the trot again. So I would like her to go without bracing her lower neck. I'd like her to start from behind. There, that's better. Good, so I'm starting from a balanced trot to the canter. Good, good. Come on. So this is her little suck back that she does. So I'm gonna steer and go straight. And think about making this more of a rectangle. Steer and go straight. Look right, step right. Look right, step right. And go straight. Good. Come back to the trot. She's got quite a big trot. I'm gonna rebalance this trot. Half halt, bring it back a little bit. And canter. Look left, step left. Look left, step left. So when I'm saying look left, she's got to bend left before I ask her to steer left. So inside aids increase the bend, outside aids get her to steer left and go straight after she's made the turn. Good girl. So I'm thinking bend left, steer left. And trot. Yield to my inside leg. Yield to my inside leg, half halt. And walk. Good. Very good.